Got the 85 ton, loading it up. All right, guys, in this video, we're gonna go over why I bought a new injection molding machine and what we're doing here. So right here, we're loading up my new 85 ton injection molding machine that we're adding to our capability. Our largest machine right now is about a 55 ton Cincinnati Millicron, and I wanted to stay with that brand. So this brand is Cincinnati Millicron, and this 85 ton is gonna give us the ability to make our larger root pod and some of our other things like the Beehive project. It's gonna start injection molding those. The gentleman you see on the high-low is actually Rick Finley. I met him. He's he repairs these machines. He does all kinds of stuff. He's a great guy, and he gave me a good deal on this machine. Got it loaded up, and we're gonna hit the road here. It's all chained down, and be excited to get it back. Gonna take it nice and easy here. Got her all loaded up, headed home right now. All right, I'm here with my buddy Pat and his little daughter back there helping us out, and we got the machine hooked up in the back. He's got a nice diesel truck, and he agreed to move this for me, and really want to thank him for helping me out with that, because rigging these things are actually pretty expensive and difficult. So it's actually pretty easy. Car's pulling it nice. His trailer's on there, pulling it easy. So I'll get you guys updated and figure out how we're going to unload this thing, because the guy who loaded us had a huge high-low, and I don't have that. So we're going to have to come up with something a little more creative there. My initial thought with unloading this thing was to bug my neighbor Bob, who has a high-low about the same as mine with a lifting capacity of 4,000 pounds, and the machine is about 8,000, so I figured you could do it. The problem was we had 4-foot forks, and they couldn't fit in the pockets, and originally I was going to lift on either side and then pull the trailer out from underneath and then set it down on machine skates to navigate it into the barn, and that wasn't going to work out, so I had to bug the guy next door. Here's the guy next door across the road at Hydraulic Tube and Fitting. He came in. Unfortunately, my camera fell over, so I didn't get the full take. He's got longer forks, and he thought he could pick it up, but his high-low wasn't big enough, and the ass end of it basically was lifting up, and he was going to flip over. So we stopped. Then I went down the road, and I bugged this guy. He is another business, and he had longer forks, and he came at it a little more aggressive and kind of shimmed it over so we could get in there. And again, he couldn't lift it, and his ass was lifting up. So we went around and went to my original method. Not the best camera angle here, but I've got my high-low on one end, and he's on the other end with his 6-foot forks. And since he had shimmed it over, I was able to get in the pocket a little better with my 4-foot forks, and we were able to lift it. This is actually really sketchy. I had speeded this clip up just for the sake of saving time, but you can see I'm pulling the trailer out here, and now it's just hovering in the air about 3-4 feet in the air. It's sitting on an angle, and now we got to synchronize our descent with the machine. So we've got 10,000 pounds just shaking back and forth all the way to the ground, and yeah, to say the least, that was probably the sketchiest thing I did today. But here I am, I'm adding some machine skates. So these are something you could put heavy equipment on and then move them around. He had to get back to work, so I just wanted him to help me lift it up, put it on the machine skates, and once they were under there, I figure I could navigate it around and then use the high-low from one end or the other. But after he left, I realized that I could actually pick it up with my high-low. So you can kind of see here I'm staring at it, wondering how the hell I'm going to move this thing around by myself. But eventually I do go around to the other side, and I just pick it up. I find out once I'm able to bury the forks in there, that little old cat that's rated for 4,500 pounds can kind of man up and lift up that 10,000 pounds or 8,000 pounds of this machine. It was a little sketchy, and unfortunately my garage door isn't wide enough to just drive it in. So you're going to see how I kind of navigated around here and get it in. But it definitely was a little bit uneasy, a little unsettling, and I did tip one of these over before, and I'll attach a picture of how that happened. But rigging is not my favorite thing to do. Wiring the machines is not my favorite thing to do. I actually just love running the machines and the capability of manufacturing, but this is part of the process. So here I am navigating the machine around, trying to get it in, and I'm by myself, and I could have asked for help, but sometimes in a tight space like this, you put people in danger, and I did not hire a rigging company, so I figure I'd spare the liability, and I would just weasel this in myself. All right, I got the molder moved in. I actually had the guy next door come over with his high-low, and we tried to lift it together yesterday, but the problem was our forks are only 4 foot long, so we had the lifting capacity, but we didn't have the ability to get into the pockets enough, and it was kind of sliding out sketchy. called it quits then. Then I called the guy across the road, and he came over with longer forks, tried to lift it, but it was lifting the rear of his high-low up. And so he kind of gave up and went back. It was nice of him to try. Then I just, on a whim, driving home, because I knew I was going to have to call a rigger and it was going to cost a lot of money, or I was just going to have to go out and buy another high-low with a larger lifting capacity, which I don't want to spend the money on that right now. I just dropped in and asked if they had a bigger high-low, and the guy who worked there came over. He had 6-foot forks, so he was able to kind of shim it over. It's a little sketchy. He did like one end at a time, weaseled it over on the trailer. Then I was able to get my shorter forks in one end. He got his longer forks in the other. We lifted it up, and then I pulled the trailer out and put it on skates. Then he left, and I just kind of carefully got it in the shop myself. There it is. The one thing about getting a machine like this in yourself, you know you're not going to kill anyone else, but you could kill yourself pretty quickly, because this is 10,000 pounds or around that. And when it tends to tip over or get crushed into something, if you're in between it, you're dead. So I did tip one of these over actually on these machine skates. I hate the skates. I like to fasten the skates with a bolt right to the skates, but these just aren't designed that way, and they're the skates that I have. The problem is if you get into unlevel ground or you hit a rock, you can kick a skate out, then this 10,000 machine gets cockeyed, and since it's top heavy, it will tip over. I'll attach a picture of when we tipped it. That's how we tipped my smaller one, and I had to repair that. Luckily, the barn caught it. But here, for example, if you were between that machine and this, and you're on the side of it and it did that, you would get crushed, you'd get killed. Or the other thing is it's the counterweight is being exceeded on this high-low. So the high-low could reach its center of gravity, flip over, and then you'd be flying over so fast that you wouldn't even know you're dead yet. So I don't really like moving this stuff. I'd prefer to have it rigged, but when you have a small company, sometimes you just got to do a lot of stuff yourself. You can see this little 55-ton is actually quite a bit smaller, because when I looked at this is an 85-ton. I didn't think it was much bigger, but side by side, there definitely is a huge difference here. This is a lot bigger machine, and this can inject 6 ounces and take a wider, bigger mold, and this will only do 2.7. So that is quite a difference there. But just like anything, when you buy a bigger machine, you need bigger stuff. Like I'm going to need a bigger chiller now. But main thing is get this thing moved. I'm going to squeeze it right in here against this wall. So I'm going to have to move some of this stuff out. Now that it's on skates, I can easily move it into that position. Then I can level it and wire it. But that's for another day. This machine skate is about to kick out, and I'm by myself. So I'm going to call it a day. Can't get the high-low in here because there's not enough room on the door, and I don't want to risk moving it anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and go get an automotive jack, and I'll slowly lift that up until I can move that skate over. Then it can be hand pushed into position. Once it's against the wall, I can come in with the high-low, lift it off the skates, and drop it on the ground. But hey, we got the hard part done. The machine's here. So look for our bigger injection molded product soon, guys. Guys, now here's your bonus material. This is a 55-ton that I moved 2 years ago that dropped over. Luckily, the barn caught it, and it didn't fully crush the machine. It was a job trying to move it back over. I had to use my old high-lows and old backhoe I had laying around. Then I had to rebuild the machine. Here it is in the shop. I had to pull the barrel off. There's my buddy Mish helping me put a new barrel on there. And then there it is all rebuilt. Finally got around to rewiring it, which there was no cutoff in my main shop, so I had to wire it live. That was sketchy. Hand slip cutting some insulation off one of the wires and cut half my thumb off. But hey, that's part of the process of moving it. And then you have the reward. Here's the machine all hooked up. And this is a smaller machine. It's not the machine you just saw me move, but just thought I'd give you a little background on moving these, why I hate moving them, why I hate wiring them, but why I love seeing them run. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video of moving the 85-ton injection molding machine that I just got. Moving this heavy equipment is my least favorite part. I'm sure you understood that through the video, and wiring it is also my second least favorite part. But getting it up and running and manufacturing parts and creating things is what I love. So this is part of the process. Like behind me, for example, we've got a CNC, what is this, a Fidel? Yeah, it's one of my Fidel CNC machines where we make the injection molds. When we moved this one, I was actually rolling it on skates, and my father-in-law kind of got pinned between a wall, and it kind of crushed his sternum. So this stuff is dangerous. Moving this heavy equipment around sucks. But it is part of the process, and I will upgrade you on the other part of the process when I wire that machine in, get it running, and we do the fun stuff. But I hope you like this video. Smash that subscribe button and tell me what you think. Tell me I'm an idiot, guys.